evening, everyone, and welcome to the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. Of course, the frequencies still remain the same. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 748 Free TV, and Channel 17 Go TV. It is great to be here today. Oh, sorry, I said, Channel 17 Go TV, exactly. That's what I said. So it's great to be here today once again on this wonderful Thursday evening, 11th of September. I know that date sends some wrong messages to many people, especially those who remember what happened 24 years ago in the United States of America. But I mean, that's past for now. But we are here to talk about sports. Welcome to the Afia Sports Banter Box. And I remain your host, Sisi Emechebe, also known as Sisi the Rabbi. And I'm not doing this alone tonight, or this evening rather. I'm here with our normal co-host, the man who spectacularly flopped in football and finds part of his calling in analysis. I'm friends with none other than the priest of football, even though that moniker is really questionable. But Emeka Madueke,
Femelo. Really? Wow. Okay.
Otherwise,
I'm glad
would you
to
be here?
Okay, wow. Okay, I'm glad to be here.
I'm actually acting based on the theme. The theme of today's show is banter.
I agree to disagree.
So banter lives here on Afia TV. So naturally there will be some fisticuffs and bloodied noses and everything in between, but all the same, no problem.
Okay.
So we have a guest here today who's going to be getting down with us in this banter session, and he's a sports analyst, somebody who is seasoned in the game, and we want to welcome him to Afia Sports Banter Box for the first time, referring to Gerard Bond. Mr. Bond.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. Let's banter away. That was harsh on Emeka Dobo. Let's take it from there.
Oh no, it was harsh on Emeka now, but while you're defending Emeka, there's some that's reserved for you, but no problem. Everybody's reserved for everybody. Banter lives here, so everybody gets his own fair share of stray bullets and Scud missiles, but it's allowed.
All right, okay.
All right, so but on a more serious note, love lives here too. We are just doing what we need to do to get you guys entertained, so that at the end of the day, we'll ask you, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Naturally, you will say, yes, you're entertained. So that's why we're here. So we're going to start with the headlines on this wonderful evening, and we'll begin with, where else are we going to begin other than the World Cup qualifiers, FIFA World Cup qualifiers? First of all, Cyril Dessers, who was the person leading the line for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, has come under criticism from the NFF. The NFF have decided to speak concerning his lack of awareness in front of goal, and they've accused him. Now, when I say the NFF, I'm referring particularly to the NFF Communications Department. I want to quote their words. It says, Cyril Dessers, who had an unimpressive game in Uyo, where he turned out to be a substitute that was substituted, did not have a better game as he was too slow to latch onto passes, could not win aerial balls, and did little in bringing alive the Nigerian attack. That was from the NFF Communication Department. Rather harsh, throwing your players under the bus, but we might touch that in a jiffy, because really, you can't blame everybody except yourself. You have to blame yourself because you take some of the blame there. But that's the first major headline. Second headline we have here is the fact that in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, Benin Republic are doing what Nigeria should be doing. But I mean, naturally, Benin Republic are taking the initiative because they have a better chance of gaining from what they are claiming that CAF and FIFA should do. What am I referring to? At the moment, because of the Group C situation in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, South Africa are top on the log with 17 points. But South Africa should not be with 17 points because a game that they played against Lesotho in, I think that should be match week 6 or thereabouts, match day 6, was a game that was marred with controversy because a player that was suspended from the previous game, Mokoena, the midfielder, was fielded in that game, and naturally being ineligible, that breached the laws of the game. And under normal circumstances, the team that fields an ineligible player should forfeit the game that they play and forfeit the points, 3 points, and also have a 3-goal defeat handed to them at the expense of the other team, that they played against. In this case, Lesotho are supposed to be given a 3-0 victory. But FIFA, for some reasons best known to them, are slow in executing this judgment. And Benin Republic, who are currently second on the log, are having issues with that. Gernot Rohr and his charges are really watching FIFA, let's put it that way, and expecting FIFA to do the needful, because why it's being silent is what we can't understand. Why they are being silent while CAF, now they say CAF, but naturally this is FIFA's call. It's FIFA, because the FIFA World Cup qualifiers has to do with FIFA competition, not CAF. So it's outside CAF's jurisdiction. It's FIFA that's meant to be looking into this matter. So Benin Republic, we understand what they're trying to say, but they should channel it to the right sources. But that's the second major headline. And then the third headline, we have 18 teams that have qualified for the World Cup automatically. Already they've qualified out of 48. So 18 teams down, 30 rather to go. It's getting heated up. Is there a possibility that Nigeria will be one of those 30 teams? Now, that's part of the banter that we're going to get into a little later today. But that's the situation there. You can see the teams. Of course, the first 3 teams that have qualified, you're looking at them by virtue of their hosting rights, Canada, Mexico, and the United States of America. Then you can mention the other countries that are there.
Countries like Japan, we have Australia, we have Iraq, we have Argentina, we have Azerbaijan, we have Korea. We have
South Korea, not North Korea.
Yeah, sorry, South Korea. We have, I believe that's New Zealand as well. We have Brazil, we have Ecuador, we have Uruguay, Colombia, Paraguay, and Morocco. The only African team so far to have qualified.
So that's the situation on ground right now concerning the FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign. So the final bit of news that we're going to give right now, I don't know whether to call this music to the ears of Manchester United fans, but I'll just say it all the same. It has been confirmed that Andre Onana, he has gone for now. Let's put it that way.
Sad.
He has moved on to Trabzonspor. The loan deal has been officially completed. He has moved from Old Trafford to Trabzonspor in Turkey for a season-long loan, which will end officially in June 2026. So Manchester United fans who have been scared and terrified of his performances or lack thereof between the sticks have little to worry about, at least based on where they're coming from, because Onana is no longer going to be a problem for them.
For at least this season.
But from the reports that we're getting, most Man United fans don't even want him back. Well, that's not the topic for today.
Goodbye to the benevolent one, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's just see how it happens. But you never know what you have until you lose it.
We'll miss him. We'll miss him in the Premier.
I don't know who the we is. I'm assuming it's not Manchester. I'm assuming it's not Manchester United. Please, let's cut Onana some slack. And Onana is, look, come on. Look, how many times do you see a ball playing goalkeeper?
That's why I said we'll miss him.
We're going to miss him.
We need him to
Deeply,
come back.
we're going to miss him.
We need him to come back.
I'm suspecting these 2 young men.
Let them cut the loan short in January. Let him come
Yes, a season, cut it to half.
Okay, we will begin the banter after the short break because I can see that they are getting ready to dig in to that. But what's the banter going to focus on? You're going to find out. Keep it locked. Don't touch that down. This is the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. And the frequency still remain the same. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. We'll be right back after these messages. You're welcome back to the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. Of course, the frequencies, I'll keep on repeating them, remain the same. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. And now, the main crux of the matter is upon us, and that is the banter. This is all about banter. And what we're bantering about right now, of course, we have the blue corner here. Which one is blue corner? Which one is red corner? Well, there are 2 corners anyway. Let's just say the red corner is here. We have Mr. Gerard Bond. Gerard Bond. His name is Bond. Gerard Bond. In the red corner. And then in the blue corner, we have the priest of football, Emeka Madoka Femelo himself. Now, the issue that we're going to be discussing today has to do with this. Let's give some background. We're looking at the probability of Nigeria qualifying for the World Cup. Now, let's give you some background. At the moment, the Group C of the CAF zone of qualifying for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers has South Africa at the top with 17 points. And Benin Republic are second with 14 points. Nigeria are third only by goal difference with 11 points. Then you have the other teams that are there. I think Rwanda is fourth with the same 11 points. You have Zimbabwe. Lesotho is next. And after Lesotho, you have Zimbabwe, who are the baseball boys there. You can see that it's all listed there. The South Africa there, Benin Republic, Nigeria, Rwanda, Lesotho, and then the cookies are hiding Zimbabwe somewhere. But Zimbabwe are just there at the base of things. Now, this is the situation. The teams that from all these groups, including Group C, the teams that finish as group leaders qualify automatically for the World Cup. Now, only one, I think it's one, or is it two? I think it's two African teams that have qualified. I think Morocco and one other team. Is it Angola? I'm trying to remember, but I'll verify. Now, 9 slots have been given to Africa, CAF. 9 slots. And 2 of those slots have already been occupied. Yeah. Now, out of those 2, the remaining 7 slots, you have 5 slots yet to be determined. And it is the teams that will qualify as leaders of the group that will fill in those 5 slots. Oh, sorry, yes, 6 slots. Then there'll be one more slot, particularly for the African zone, that 4 teams are going to battle for. Now, the 4 teams that will battle out for those slots are the highest ranking second place teams. Highest ranking second place teams. Now, the problem is that on the list of the second place teams as things stand with 2 games to go in the World Cup qualifiers, Nigeria are 8th with 11 points. Yeah. The team that is 4th, I'm trying to remember, I think it's Uganda also. The team that is 4th have 15 points with 2 games to go. Now, the best Nigeria can get, because next month Nigeria will play first of all on the second they will go to Southern Africa and play Lesotho, and then on the 10th of October they will end proceedings at home, Uyo, against Benin Republic. So that means that the best Nigeria can get in terms of points is 17 points, 6 points adding to the 11 points, 17 points. So the only way Nigeria can qualify mathematically is if, for instance, barring a slip up in that group, if either getting to the top, that means if South Africa lose their remaining 2 games and Nigeria have a better goal difference and then finish winning their 2 games, Nigeria have a chance to qualify automatically. That's not likely to happen anyway because of South Africa's form. Then Benin Republic is another factor you have to put into consideration. So the next best opportunity for Nigeria to qualify is the second place position, but that's where the problem lies. In the second place, Nigeria is 8th. So a lot of permutations, so many things have to happen. It's now vibes and inshallah. That's where we are. So I'm laying the marker on the ground and leaving it to these 2 men to battle it out. What are the chances? What is the probability of Nigeria being on a plane to the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico by next year for the Summer Olympic Games? Sorry, the Summer World Cup. I said Olympic Games. Games, not games. But it's the World Cup we're talking about.
I mean, the chances are very, very slim. It's, if I'm being honest, it's about 5% of 100 right now.
There's still a chance?
There's still a chance, but I mean, it's very, very slim. And I don't like to be one who is going to give too much hope to the neutrals and say, okay, Nigeria is going to win. There is no guarantee Nigeria is going to win their remaining 2 games. We could go there, maybe beat Lesotho and draw with Benin, or lose to Benin, and that's where the whole chances go to go up in flames.
I feel we still have to be optimistic. Thinking about it from this angle, where you talked about the charges hanging over South Africa, I said FIFA are supposed to be swift in delivering that verdict. We cut it down to 14 points. Nigeria will be looking at it. We have 3 points off the top. Then we'll take it from there. For all that we'll talk about. Before this, the last 4 qualifiers, out of 12 points, Nigeria got 8.
Yeah.
It's not bad. The problem or the mistakes happened way earlier before this round of matches. So it's quite an improvement. It's just that the South African game was supposed to be a must-win, but some selection issues
But sorry, let me ask you this. I'm sorry to cut you short, but I want to ask you this. Okay, let's say Nigeria win their remaining 2 games and get the 6 points. You still need either Benin or South Africa to slip up to get yourself into where you need to go, as if you're aiming for first. If you're not aiming for first, you still need Benin to slip up to get yourself into the second place.
Slip up is still part of football. People walk, just win the game in front of you, and that slip up might be available for you to take. If you don't win your game at hand, you will not be able to take advantage. No, you have to play like it's available. It's available until it's no longer available. That's what it is.
I like that.
Okay, I agree with you. Clarity is no longer available.
Yes.
But what next? We sit down here, all Nigerians, we know we like to form mathematicians here. We're all standardizing in our calculators. Okay, if Benin drop these points, if South Africa drop these points, okay, we're going to first place with 17.
I feel we like the adrenaline rush where you get to do permutations. If this doesn't happen, it's like a game of chess.
As a serious footballing nation, should we be doing this every World Cup qualifiers?
At this time, you are trying to qualify for the World Cup. Forget about being a serious footballing nation or not. You're trying to qualify with the points that you make.
We've slipped up already.
Yeah. We slipped up. We can still make something up. At the end of the day,
one too many draws. That's 5 draws.
If we take it the way you're taking it, we might just tell CAF and FIFA, Nigeria is no longer willing to play the 2 remaining matches, but we cannot do that because for football there is a continuous chance. So we'll keep on pushing for that until it is impossible. I'm not talking about mathematically impossible. Until it is impossible. Right now, it's mathematically possible. But until it is impossible, we'll keep on pushing. There are 6 points up for grabs, and with the case, if South Africa, I feel that's the right thing. They are supposed to come down to 14 points. Then we take it from there.
Okay. So before you say that,
go ahead, because I want to play devil's advocate.
When and if they give the deduction and South Africa reduced down to 14 points, okay, let's leave it at that. Yeah, we're still going to hold our calculators, pray and vibes and inshallah that okay, everything goes well. Or
South Africa will be under the pressure to win their remaining matches. Everybody is feeling that pressure.
Mr. Sisi said, goal difference is another thing that could be crucial. What is the guarantee that Nigeria are going to get the goals?
When you talk about that, you also have to figure it out that for against head-to-head Nigeria, it's 1-1. So it goes beyond goal difference when it misses, gets to that point.
Okay.
Let me just give some context here and also at the same time play devil's advocate with facts, because banter is more of something that demagogues get involved in. Demagoguery is not, and I'm not really into demagoguery that much. I like to bring cold, hard facts, and then you can battle with those facts, interpret them anyhow you choose to. But the reality on ground is this: factoring in what you said, which we were talking about the issue of deduction of points, assuming FIFA do the right thing and stop looking at Dr. Patrice Musefe. Where is he from again? Okay, I mean, that was a rhetorical question. Now, South Africa have played 8 games. All of them have played 8 games. So that's basically South Africa played 8 games with 5 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, with 14 goals scored, 6 conceded. That's a +8 goal difference, 17 points. Benin Republic have played 8 games, won 4, drawn 2, lost 2, with 11 goals scored, 7 considered. That is a +4 goal difference, 14 points. Nigeria have played 8 games, 2 won, 5 draws, 1 lost, 9 goals scored, 7 considered. That's a +2 goal difference with 11 points. Now, just before I finish up with the base members, that's Rwanda, Lesotho, and Zimbabwe. Understand this, because we'll still get to the issue of who's to take the blame. But let me give you some context there. Remember that Eric Sekuchel has managed, he managed 4 games, no, 5 games now. I think he managed 5 games. No, 4 games. 4 games, I beg your pardon.
In the qualifiers, yes.
In the qualifiers, he has managed 4 games. Half of the games that Nigeria has played, he managed them. Then the other half of the games, the earlier half of the games, were managed by, first of all, Jose Pizarro and Finidi George. Now, Jose Pizarro could only muster 2 points from those 2 games, the 2 games he managed. 2 points, 2 draws. Then Finidi George could only muster 1 point from the games out of 6. So that's a draw against South Africa in Uyo, and then the loss to Benin Republic. Now, this man, Eric Sekuchel, in the 4 games has managed 2 wins and 2 draws. That's 8 points. He's picked up 8 points for Nigeria there. So he picked up more than almost 3 times the number of points that the 2 managers before him picked up. So before anybody starts talking about who should take the blame, I think they should think very well before apportioning blame as and when due. Now, when you check it very well, you find out another thing. I just have to say that. Now, if we're putting these permutations into consideration, assuming, okay, now let me mention, Rwanda have 8 games played, 3 won, 2 drawn, 3 defeats, 5 goals scored, 5 considered. That's a 0 goal difference with 11 points, same as Nigeria, but with 2 goals less than Nigeria in terms of goal difference. So Lesotho, of course, 8 games played, just 1 win, the solitary win, 3 losses, 3 draws and 4 losses with 4 goals scored, 12 conceded. I'm getting to that. I had to mention it deliberately with 6 points. And then Zimbabwe with 8 games played, no win, 4 draws, 4 defeats, 5 goals scored, 11 conceded. So Zimbabwe with 4 points. Zimbabwe is not even meant to be discussed here because of the now. Lesotho should be discussed here because of the implication. Now, see what I'm trying to say. Assuming FIFA grow a pair and do the needful, that means that by the time, if they, let's assume they do this before October, before we step into March the 9th. Yes, you're looking at 14 points for South Africa with. You're looking at 14 points for South Africa with 11 goals scored and 9 conceded. That is a +2.
Yeah.
Remember, 3-0 by default. You understand? So a +2 goal difference with the same number of points. Benin Republic, even Stevens now, the same points, same goal difference. 11. No, sorry, more. They will then be on top. Benin will be on top. That's why they're coming for it.
Now goes first
because they have a +4 goal difference.
Yeah.
Now Lesotho will have they'll have a +3 goal difference, which means they'll have 7 goals scored
And 9 points.
and then 9 conceded. That is a -2 goal difference and 9 points. That's how significant that will be to them. An outside chance.
Them to still 5th place.
Yes.
I mean, they'll still have 5th place by 9 points.
But within the context of Nigeria's possibility of qualifying, and should I say probability, you then see that the margins have been reduced. That makes the clash against Benin Republic, first of all, Lesotho and Benin Republic, very critical. Because if Nigeria, assuming things go the way they go, if Nigeria win all their games, and we can't say, and if Benin Republic win all their games, because one of those games is against Nigeria.
Yes.
If Nigeria win all their games, the remaining 2 games, and Benin win one, we'll be tied on points with Benin Republic. You get the point?
Yes.
We'll be tied on points with Benin Republic, and it is likely that if South Africa drop points again, then we're talking about something
Full blown.
so a very, very interesting
the
race.
likelihood of South Africa dropping points as of when the points have been deducted and the 3 goals were deducted and added to Lesotho, what's the guarantees that they are going to drop points or are not going to outscore the rest of the teams that they have to play?
That's the problem with football. There's no guarantee.
Because
we have
permutation.
permutation.
One thing we need to look at now is crucial at the top, because the first game returning back is Benin versus South Africa at Benin's home. That is a must-watch game, not just for both parties, but Nigeria as well, because that would determine whether we have a chance or not.
Yeah.
And the outcome of that game, if it goes in favor of South Africa, our chances get slimmer and slimmer. And that's just the point. That's just the point I'm trying to make here. What's the guarantee that Benin are going to do the job?
At the end of the day, I just like that, keep mentioning that there's a chance, whether it's a slim one or not a slim one, there's a chance. So even Garnacho is spaced at FIFA for not having dropped a verdict on this thing. So he's gingered about this team has a chance as well. So when they are playing at home, they know that this is the match in front of you, you have to win it. So however they want to attack that, however they want to take care of that, it's their own business. At the end of the day, if they don't take care of it and it ends in a draw or something else, Nigeria is still somewhere waiting to do their own job.
So mind you, now that in that game, most likely outcome that would surprisingly help Nigeria out isn't a win for Benin. It's going to be a draw.
And a draw, should that happen, assuming, of course, the points are deducted, hopefully, that will be 15 points apiece for them.
15 points apiece.
And should Nigeria beat Lesotho away from home, that will push Nigeria to 14 points.
A point
so we're talking
behind.
about a point behind getting into the last day
Yes.
of the season, which now puts the burden on South Africa, primarily. Because South Africa knows that they have to better the result of either or both Nigeria and Benin Republic.
Now, to
on the last
rejoice
day.
myself again now, let's look at the teams that South Africa are playing to know if the chances are really worth banking on. They are playing Benin Republic. Okay, let's get the best that can come out there for Nigeria is a draw for the 2 nations. They are playing Zimbabwe, the basement boys. That should be a roadhousing for South Africa. I mean, massive goals and 3 points.
But let's not forget that the basement boys, in as much as they've not won a single game, have drawn 4.
Okay. I'm trying to do the mathematics as well as we're doing it now. Okay, that's the point table right there. South Africa, if the points are deducted, they are going to be on, I believe that's 14 points.
Yes.
They draw with Benin, that's 15. They draw again, that's 16. What's the guarantee that we're beating Lesotho and Benin?
And what's the guarantee that we're not? I'm devil's advocate.
You can't keep doing this 50-50 gauge dice system.
No,
we
are in with a chance. Just like he said earlier, and we talked about it before Eric took over. We had 3 points out of 12, but he's now here, and we have 8 out of 12. There's a huge difference. So for whatever he's getting wrong, tactically he can get something wrong. He's a coach and whatnot, but all the same, he has improved our chances. We didn't have the chance before this last 2 international windows for the World Cup qualifiers, but now we have a chance. So I'm counting on that momentum. Keeps on going that way, and I don't see 6 points being too hard to get from the next 6 matches.
Okay. From your lips to God's ears, I guess that's what they say.
I'm just optimistic about the whole thing. I have this dream of going to watch the World Cup live, and I want to see Nigeria there.
I mean, your dream is quite beautiful, but it depends on these boys whether they have the hunger and the motivation at the end. Because just like 2018, let's say 2022, I don't see that again.
Okay, it's not on the subject of dreams. I just have to put a pause on that before we all wax Martin Luther King Jr. I have a dream. All the same, we are. So that's basically, we're looking at permutations and everything, and everything in between. But we'll go on a very, very short break. When we return, still on the banter, we are going to discuss the other side of the banter. Who do we hold responsible for this mess we find ourselves in? Why is Nigeria in this situation where we have to bring out our calculators yet again, which is typical of most Nigerians doing tournaments and, of course, preparations for tournaments? Stick around and you find out. This is still the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. We'll be right back in a jiffy. You're welcome back to the final leg of the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. Channels, frequencies still remain the same. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, Channel 748 Free TV. And this is still CC, the rabbi himself. And I'm flanked here by 2 gentlemen who have been slugging it out in this slugfest for the past few minutes. I'm referring to none other than Femelo himself, Emeka Mandoka, the priest of football. And then our guest today, Mr. Gerald Gerald Bond. Okay, so
Might be the cousin of James Bond. Who knows?
It's possible. I have to check and check if he has a 007. Whether he has a 00. License to kill. Let me check myself very well. But although all the same, So we are at the second side. We're in the second side of the banter now, and this is now the issue. Yes, I'm a firm believer of the fact that it is more productive to fix the problem than to fix the blame. But sometimes you have to fix the blame and find out who did what, who dropped the ball, so you can know what to do to avoid that situation. And believe me, a massive ball was dropped when this World Cup qualification began. And there are many actors and characters that are involved in this. But we need to apportion blame as and when due, and then find out who takes the lion's share of the blame, whether it's the players or the administrators or the coaching crew or even the Nigerian fans, putting them under pressure, because the Nigerian football team, the Super Eagles, is the only team that has over 200 million coaches. So we know about that. It's a normal thing. So now this is the point where we ask, who exactly is to blame for this mess, this situation we find ourselves in, where we are struggling to qualify for a showpiece as grand as the FIFA World Cup? So I'm throwing it open right now.
I believe for this sticky mess we found ourselves, it has to be the players. They've not shown much commitment as of when due. I mean, if you look at most of the games we've drawn, the 5 games, let's look at the 5 games that we drew. Let's leave out the 1 loss. The 5 games we drew, there was no hunger to defend the goals that we had in games. There was no hunger to actually go for more. It seems like once Nigeria score 1 goal, okay, that's what we're banking on. We're not looking for more goals. How many matches can we count Nigeria scored more than 1 goal in these qualifiers? We can only count 1-1 scorelines of ones.
If we're looking at context, I'll get to you on this, but if my memory serves me right, out of those 5 draws that Nigeria mustered, one of those draws was a case of grabbing a point from the jaws of victory, while the other 4 draws was a case of grabbing a point from the jaws of defeat. In other words, Nigeria responded, came from behind on 4 of those occasions. Yes, that wasn't the best of results, but they showed enough resolve to get back into the game. It was not enough but they got back into the game,
That's
tried their best to do so.
That's still part
So-
of what I'm saying. Why are we putting ourselves in the situation where we have to come back from behind and rescue points? Why can't we hit the ground running? Why can't we get the tactics, the game plan, stick to it, go out guns blazing, put the opponents on distress, get them afraid of us, get as many goals as possible? Can't Nigeria do that? We can do that, but the players seem to be lazy. That's my point.
Okay,
Why-
Gerard, your
why,
point, please.
why you lay the blames at the feet of the players? Even though we talk about football here, but football actually starts before the ball is kicked. Football doesn't just start when the players wear their jersey and start playing. And also, when it comes to my own problem, I see the administrators not doing some certain things they're supposed to do well. A case in point, this criticism of Dessers. That's far from the whole thing you should be worried about. There are some things that you should just say. Just when you get back into the dressing room, those things should be said. So I don't get that point. Maybe they want to attach all the blame to him, which is not possible. So the administrators, what are they doing? What did they learn from not qualifying from 2022 World Cup? What have they put in place? What is the succession of coaches plan that we have? Is there a particular thing that if like this Eric Chelle is still on the seat, are there a succession plan of where coaches have been trained, where coaches have been nurtured to handle this team, handle this team, handle this team? Let it filter from maybe from under 17 or lower than that to the under 20 to the Olympic team and then to the national team. This coach just keep going through this particular formation, and when you see in the next 3 or 4 years, you'll be ripe for the Super Eagles job. But all the same, we just out of the blue, we just pick up someone and then put all the pressure on the coach, put all the pressure on the players to adapt quickly to a short-term thing. I don't know what they have in plan, but I just hope they don't do anything to our coach. I want him to see him at the Nations Cup. I want to use that place to judge him. But the scattergun approach the administrators use, I don't know how much of a business person they are or football analyst.
All right.
Okay, but no, before I want to throw this to you now because I'm interested in bringing this matter. Then, of course,
Okay.
your rebuttal is more than welcome in this regard. Now,
Right.
I want to latch onto one or two things you said. First of all, the issue of the Cyril Dessers matter that we talked about now. Then mentioning. First of all, should any criticism that should go towards a player in the first place? Last time I checked, shouldn't it be from the coaching crew? The administration, the administrative segment, are they even meant to say anything about what's going on the pitch? Are they meant to have that say? Will it even impact what happens on the pitch? That's the first point. Like, were they within their rights to say that in the first place? That is, and by the way, there's even a mess that's going on right now because the NFF Communications Team was credited with that statement.
Yeah.
And then the Director General of the NFF, Dr. Mohamed Sanusi, has come out to debunk what they said. That's the report that we're getting. So it's more like two divergent views in the same place. Okay, you criticize the player, and then another high-ranking official is saying, no, you're not meant, whoever said that should not say that. Isn't that a case of a rift in the house?
It's quite embarrassing that should be happening in the open. In the sense that when I first saw that comment online, I was like, maybe it was just somebody putting somebody who is not the real source. And searching for the announcer that it was real. So at the end of the day, you see saying about this count, it makes a more mess on the little mess that was started already. They have no business talking about that. You should just talk about it ends in a draw, a disappointing draw. Keep it at that. Criticizing a player who is before this thing, I think this is the first should I say official matches that he's playing for Nigeria. All the other caps are friendlies.
Yeah.
These are the first 2 matches he's playing in qualifiers for any tournament. So he was disappointed not doing that, and he has a chance. He blew it. Yeah, it's understandable. But going out openly to criticize him, you are not the coach, like you said. It's left to the coaching crew to do that. It's quite
Well,
bad.
I mean, on that front, I do agree that yes, the federation should keep their comments and reserve it. I mean, the coaching staff should be the one to pass out any displeasure on what the players are doing. I agree with that. But at the same time, these players shouldn't just go, okay. Most of the neutrals say that, okay, the players are not giving it their all because they're not being paid well, they're not being prompted well by the federation. It's not just about what you get paid. This is wearing your national t-shirts. You're supposed to have pride when you're wearing these t-shirts. You're supposed to go out there, carry us on your forefront, go guns blazing, defend the honor of the country. But when you're giving lackluster performances, how then do you prove your money's worth?
For what it's worth, you're supposed to get some sort of, should I say, compensation, if for the, not to use the word of getting paid to play for your country, but there are compensations on ground.
Allowances.
Allowances.
Yes.
How well is it being taken care of? What are the facilities, the conditions, the improvement they have on ground to make these players feel at home? Not when they go for some things, and when you talk to one of them about what they go through when they come to national
So
camps.
I want to ask this. As a footballer, your dream is to play at the World Cup, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Is your dream to get paid for the qualifiers for the World Cup? It's not that. You're supposed to go out there, give it your all, put the politics aside, put all the other things aside. Those can be addressed with due time. Do your own part on the pitch first. That's what you're being paid for. You do your part on the pitch first. Prove your money's worth, so that when you're going out to attack those who need to pay what they need to pay, you have valuable substances to back up why you should be paid those things that you're not being paid and more. I mean, if you're not playing good games, you're not playing top quality football, how then do you want to back up the proof that you're
this by comes to where we're going to talk about the chicken and the egg. Which one is more important?
I was coming to that, but go ahead.
So when you talk about this thing, so which one comes first? Is the administrators are supposed to set a particular level playing ground, as in a very, very sustainable one, a good condition on ground for them players to come, or the players have to come first, then they start being treated well by administrators?
Just to latch on to what he said, because he basically stole the point, not what stole, he tapped into it somehow. The points that was there, it's more like a catch-22 situation. That's a chicken or egg situation. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Was it the egg that came first? Who laid it? Okay, if the chicken laid it, from what egg did they get hatched? Exactly. That kind of point. It's a catch-22 situation. Now, the players need morale. They need to be motivated. That's where the authorities come in. That's where the administration, the glass house in this case, come in. They should motivate the players. My late mentor, Mr. Jikato of blessed memory, would always say it this way, that the agility of a monkey is determined by the availability of the branches. So if there are no branches, the monkey can't swing. Now, you look at, I'll give you a typical example. I was very, very hurt and disappointed, but understandably so. I was understanding the people that were making those comments, but there had to be some balance. You judge each case on its merit. I heard what some people were saying about the performance of Ademola Lookman. Ademola Lookman was not justifying his position as the reigning African Player of the Year because of his lackluster performance against both Rwanda and South Africa. But when you judge that case on its own merit, you find out that apart from the issue of the allowances that have not been paid, which basically most of them are going through, you see, he's just coming off the back of an emotional roller coaster transfer in the transfer market, trying to find his way out of Atalanta, and then that battle that he was having with Atalanta, Inter Milan move didn't go through, and a number of things. And this is playing the minds of the players, and that's one documented case. Some of the other players also made attempts to make moves, and then they were affected. Some, of course, they know that if these allowances don't come, if they get injured, like we saw in that game, for instance, Ola Aina picked up an injury. He was replaced by Bright Osai Samuel. Now, Ola Aina picked up that injury, and if that injury is a serious injury, thank God it's not. But if it's a serious injury, then that means that the chances of him being called up in the next game, which is against Lesotho, to play for Nigeria, becomes slim. That means Bright Osai Samuel or any other right back may come in there, maybe like Tanimu, for instance, may come in and play a right back, and then his chances of breaking back into that position are weakened. So playing for your country and picking up an injury in the process can further jeopardize your chances of continuing to play for your country. So sometimes we have to understand that these things play in the minds of these players. So that's the angle I'm coming from. There's a problem from the side of the administration, and there's a problem from the side of the players. So it's good to harmonize these two and then find a way to fix the problem rather than fix the blame. That's what I'm trying to say.
Get me right. I'm not disputing the fact that these don't play crucial mindsets on the players. I mean, it's average. We are human beings. You have to consider those things as well. They would have a toll on your mind mentally. But I mean, as a professional, you're meant to do your job first. Do your part first. When you do your part first, then the others can now come into play. I mean, football, you have to first be a professional to be regarded as a top quality player or a world-class player. What separates you from the average players, if not your quality? That's what I'm just trying to emphasize here. We have some of the best players around the world playing for some of the biggest clubs around Europe. Why can't they represent what they do in these their big clubs? I mean, we have players from Fulham, we have players from other big giants in Europe, and they play better than this for their clubs. So why not do what they do for their clubs in the national team?
I still feel like I said, it's something that the administrators have to put some things on the ground. There are cases whereby, let me take an example. Charlie Adam, when he moved from, Blackpool to Liverpool, he found something different whereby they reuse the jerseys they wear. But when he came to Liverpool, it's a different case altogether. So that's when he knew he really had to step up. So when you talk about these things, when players come to camp and see the professionalism laid out already, you'll be forced to work. But when you come and see lackluster preparations, you will come down to that level.
So just to come from what you're saying, is it only the coach that lays out the preparations or the NPF? I mean, you have senior players in that.
I'm talking about administrators. I'm talking about.
I mean, you said there has to be grounds laid out. It's not just the. It's not just the federation.
I'm talking from the administrative level. I'm talking
NFF.
from the NFF.
Okay, I know. Okay, good and fine. The administration hasn't dropped a good and admirable atmosphere for them to play. Why not create one for yourself? Where
no,
create
that's not your job.
When I mean create one, I mean, okay, the camp is having that whole, the players are whole having that whole mindset. Okay, we're not being paid well for coming off our national teams. Maybe that's what's hanging around the first 11. Some of these heads should rally up and say, okay, I know we are all in this together. We're not being paid. We're not being compensated well for all our efforts. But let's leave that aside. Let's try and create that professional ground. When we do our part and we deliver, we have more grounds to fight for what we are owed.
I want to assume you've heard the saying that the motivator needs motivation. But you
can only motivate yourself. Is the motivation going to fall from heaven?
Easier said than done.
Just like where you taking it from that angle now. So what happens? Just like when the last Nations Cup, when Nigeria came second, and maybe the administrators now take that is not success and continued on that baseline. So do they keep making effort, putting in the extra effort every single time, extra effort, till they get drained, waiting for when they win a trophy, then they will now go to the administrators or NFF to wake up? It has to be organized. It has to be a steady provision. You don't have to wait for success. Let them succeed before. I don't like this idea whereby they wait for when there's a crown, there's a trophy lifted, and you say, okay, you put that one this thing, take this thing. What about that process? That process, the World Cup. If you think about the World Cup, it might have been that the qualifier started 3 years ago, maybe for some minor nations, but it started like over 3 years ago. That's a whole long process of preparations that the bigger teams are supposed to prepare for, because they are just going through the final rounds of qualifiers. But no, we'll just keep on patching. You players do well. For how long?
I mean, in everything, there's always double sides to everything. I mean, there's a balance in life. If the administrations have their faults, the players still have their faults. Okay, because the scale has to be balanced out somewhere.
I think that's basically that. We'll just have to put that on pause. We will give you our final thoughts regarding this matter and harmonize the views there. Look at the merits and demerits, the pros and cons of both views when we return as we bring this show to an end. This is still the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. Please don't touch that dial. Stay tuned. We'll be right back in a jiffy. Welcome back to the tail end of the Afia Sports Banter Box on Afia TV. The frequencies are still the same. They have not changed. They are fixed on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. And this is the Afia Banter Box. And of course, my guest is here alongside our co-host, Emeka Madoka, the Prince of Football, is here, Femelo, and our guest, Gerald Bond, is here. And we've been talking about issues concerning the FIFA World Cup qualifier involving Nigeria in Group C, CAF Zone Group C, where you're trying to get on a plane officially to get a ticket to the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico, or like the Mexicans will call it, Mexico. But it is difficult. Things have happened. The probability and possibility, we have looked at that and we're wondering whether that's going to happen. Possibility, yes, mathematically it is possible. Probability, not so much, but we just have to hope, even though hope is not a business strategy. And then we've also looked at the issue of who to blame. We love the blame game in this part of the world. We always want to apportion blame. And one thing about apportioning blame on a regular basis is that it makes irresponsibility become the norm, because most times you push blame to those that you feel should be responsible for that. But there is a part you have to play. The journey of 1,000 miles always begins with one step. Or like I always like to say it this way, that Rome was not built in a day, but it was built daily. Every single day has to count. There has to be intentionality, there has to be deliberation, there has to be a plan, a charted out plan regarding what to do. So final words, gentlemen. You are somehow the hybrid of, I didn't get any Israel bullets getting to Eric Sekuchel. That bullet that meant to graze his ear, maybe it didn't graze his ear, no problem. So he has escaped this one right now. But somehow you're a hybrid of an NFF high official. Let's just say you're the embodiment of both Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Guzo and let's just say William Trustekong, the captain of Nigeria. You're fused into one. I wouldn't like to meet you if you're that kind of person, an alien. But somehow you're that fusion. What advice would you give? What would you do? What would you correct to ensure that the remaining 2 games, that is what is within your power, will help Nigeria qualify for the World Cup? What would you do? And I'm going to ask Emeka the same question as we close.
Okay, I think they should prepare better. The administration should make provisions for what is supposed to be available, and then accountability on everybody's part. With that, I don't see anything less than 6 points in the next 2 games, and from there, the dreams. Let's just stick to dreaming.
Okay, we dream. We're the dreamers. So
I mean, we are the biggest dreamers in Africa, aren't we?
we are the dream team. Remember? But,
yeah, the dream team, as they say. But okay, well, he said basically most of what needs to be said. Everybody needs to get their own jobs and sorted out. The hierarchy needs to get what they need to get sorted out. The players need to get themselves prepped and pumped for the next game, because this last 2 games is do or die affair. It's a game for your life. Put it as high stakes. It's a game where you either win or die. That's how it has to be.
And by die, he means that figuratively. So I want to say a big thank you, first of all, to our guest, Gerard Bond. Thank you. It's been a pleasure having you today on the show. And then, of course, our main host, our assistant host, co-host, Emeka Madoka, the priest of football, the almost failed footballer. Let me add to that. Wow. But all the same.
Okay, wow.
Okay, so nice. So really, we all have something to do. We all have to take the bull by the horns and do what we need to do. But we, who are the floor members regarding the Super Eagles of Nigeria's game plan to qualify for the World Cup, have a role to play. What is our role? Keep supporting. Support the Super Eagles of Nigeria. There is a possibility that they will qualify for the World Cup. As long as there is this possibility, where there's life, there's hope. So when the hopes are still alive, we need to just keep on believing. So let's believe. We can do that. We're not asking for too much. Thank you very much for being with us. On behalf of the great guys, I want to say thank you for staying with us on the Afia Banter Box. And we're going to do this again next Thursday. But tomorrow we're going to give you a review show on Afia TV by 5 p.m. Until then, remain blessed. I'm Sisi the Rabbi, and we're signing out.